Proud of the way our kids responded, coming back from a loss and playing probably their best football game of the year. Complete game, special teams, offense, defense. Obviously, they're going to be up for another challenge. Akron will be a very physical football game. It always has been. So, they're competing right now to get bowl eligible, and we're competing to continue to move forward. So, should be a great game.
Given the status of the East Division this week, Coach, how much attention, if any, do you pay to the results Tuesday night? Will it change how you prepare or what you tell your guys leading up to Friday?
No, it certainly won't change how we prepare, and it will not change my and our approach to this ball game. All of our concentration and thoughts are on Akron. Again, it should be a really good ball game. We're going to have to be at the top of our game in order to get it done, and so that's what we're truly focused on. The rest of it will kind of take care of itself. We don't have any opportunity to change anything that's happened. All we can do is play our best football game again this next week and try to get a win.
Football and Thanksgiving kind of go hand in hand. What are the lessons you've learned over the years in terms of either getting a team ready to play given the holiday? It's been a little different since you've been here with the Friday games, but anything that is important this week with the holiday right in the middle?
Well, there'll be some family coming in as it is senior day, and so there'll be not only family of seniors though, but there'll be family of other players that are in town, and you always want to make sure that they get an opportunity to spend some time together, and yet you need to keep your team focused on what lies ahead. All kind of challenges in the MAC in terms of preparing for games. This is another one. It's not new to us, but you still have to give some thought and some planning going into this type of game at the end of the year. And our guys are playing really well right now. You want to try to keep that momentum going.
Last year, of course, you guys were on the road Thanksgiving, so I imagine the whole team was together. Will you guys try to have a team-wide function for the holiday this week as well?
Yeah, we'll have a dinner for all of the players on Thanksgiving, and anybody that does have family in and wants to have a separate dinner, we'll certainly allow that to occur. But I think in most cases, most of our team will be together at that lunch, and then just try to get them focused in on what's ahead, and make sure that the issue of, not an issue, but the situation where families and everybody's together, and it is a holiday, obviously an important holiday. Make sure they get fed well, and then just move on.
I don't know if you guys have finalized your list, but how many guys will be taking part in your senior ceremony on Friday? And
yeah, you're right. We haven't finalized that yet. But,
could you give some general thoughts about what this particular group has meant?
Yeah, they've been a great group, not only in terms of their athleticism, which they got a lot of. This is a very talented group that will end up playing their last home game here this coming Friday. So they'll definitely be missed. But they'll be missed in other ways too. I like their personalities. It's a fun group. They're guys that did everything right in terms of preparing. They're the group that really is the leaders of our football team. There's leaders that are juniors and sophomores, but this group has done a great job of leading this football team, not only this year, but in the years that they've been involved in the program. So you have the talent in the group, you have the leadership in the group, you know, excellent students. They got it done in the classroom. So it's about as good a bunch as you're going to have.
I always thought this class, more than maybe some others here, kind of personified that that lunch pail mentality, that grinder mentality. I mean, you look at a guy like, I don't know, like your defensive tackles are two guys I think that they didn't come in and start right away, but work themselves. AJ's that way. Kylan Nelson even has been that. Is that a little bit of a through line through this whole group?
Yeah, I think that's accurate to state that. They've been, as I mentioned several times, a group that's really prepared as well as you can prepare for football games. But it goes back, it started this past spring. It was a great spring by our football team, led by these guys. The summer was, under Dak, was, I thought, special in terms of development of players. Fall camp, we had a really good fall camp, and then that carries on over to your season, and they've been a big part of what we've been, a huge part in what we've been able to accomplish this year.
Talking about Akron now, and they remain a I don't know, a dangerous defensive team. They have a knack or an ability to create momentum plays, and what is it about them that allows them to be successful in that department?
Well, I think they got a great deal of toughness. I think Coach Bowden recruits really well in his staff, but they've got physical football players, and so when you step on the field against them, you got to be ready to match their physical ability, or else the game can kind of start to get away from you. And so we've got to make sure that we're taking on the physical part of the game ourselves, which we have done very well over the course of this season, and I expect that we'll do well again on that end of it. I think it'll be a great matchup when it comes to that. They've got some big playmakers, and on both offense and defense. Alvin Davis, I think, has got 4 pass interceptions. He's only 5'9", I think, 175 pounds, but he will strike you. Great ball instincts. So they got those kind of people on defense as well as offense. Obviously, Cato, is the kind of quarterback that a lot of people look for in terms of running and throwing and just being able to make the big plays. And so they have the athleticism that's there for that to happen. And when it does happen, then it can become a problem for you. So you just can't let it happen very often.
Frank, do you talk to your team at all this week that a win puts you guys in a better bowl game at all? Is that a conversation at all this week?
I have not talked to them about a bowl game once this year. And so, they're smart guys. They know how it all works. And so, and that's kind of putting the cart before the horse a little bit there. I don't want to start having them focus in on a bowl game right now, who they might play, where they might play, any of that. Our total focus has got to be on Akron, and that's the way we usually operate, and I think that's the best approach. We're certainly bowl eligible, probably will get a bowl, but until that comes, that's not in our thinking.
Will you watch Tuesday's game where Miami plays against Ball State, or
I don't know.
Okay.
To be honest.
Good answer.
Coach, after suffering what was probably one of the more tougher losses of the season, your team responds with one of the biggest wins of the season. Can you just kind of talk about this team's ability to bounce back and kind of put games in the past?
Yeah. You know, that's been their makeup. You know, they rely on one another to play their best. You know, the thing that I've found difficult in the game of football is to line up and play 12 football games at your best level, at your highest peak. You know, there's sometimes you're not there. You know, the energy level isn't as good. And when that comes around, you just got to be good enough to win those games. You know, we've had some games where we probably haven't played as well as we're capable of playing. In fact, I know we've had some of those, but it hasn't been because of effort, has not been because of energy. We've played some good football teams, but, you know, things turned out kind of the way they did. You'd like to have had it turn out just a little bit different, but it is what it is. And proud of where these guys are at right now and the effort that they've given throughout the course of their, not only this season, but their time here. And, you know, look forward to them playing their last game here and trying to get that to end on a very high note for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, last year the complexity of the season changed against Akron. Is there any extra motivation for this team heading into this game this week?
I don't think because of how it transpired last week. You know, every time you line up, you want to win. You know, that's a given. And if you have a group of guys that, like what we've got, they don't have to have something piled on top of something to have motivation. You know, if you have a football team that can't motivate itself for the upcoming game without some kind of thought about what's happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future, then I think you got a problem. You know, and so we try to always, as you know, you guys have been around for a while here and know how we prepare. You know, it's I think still the best way to prepare to win game after game after game. But you know, at some point in time, would you like to have a few plays over again or a couple games over again? There's no question.
I know that you touched on Senior Day, and AJ was named MAC East Offensive Player of the Week. Is it kind of just fitting that one of the best running backs in program history is he's playing his best football the last couple of games down the stretch?
Yeah, I agree with you on that he's playing his best football right now. You know, these last couple games have really been special, and to me, he's an all-MAC running back. And you know, he's had a great career here. Is finishing it up the way I'd hoped he'd finish it up for us, but also for himself, because he deserves that kind of recognition, because he's that kind of a player for you. And he's that kind of a leader for you. He's got as much respect on his football team as anybody does from the other members of our team. So you want it to end well for him, obviously. You know, it's really amazing that right now we've got, I think, 3 players, Malik and Nathan, in the top 10 rushing in the MAC, I believe. All 3 of those guys are in the top 10. That doesn't happen very, very often, you know. So it signifies that there's a great deal of talent there. And I think our offensive coaches, Coach Albin and the rest of the coaching staff have done a great job in preparing week by week to utilize the athleticism that we have on offense.
Coach, it's the first time in quite a while that you guys had a long week. Is it kind of advantageous for you guys, or after seeing your team play as well as they did against Buffalo, you kind of wanted to just have a normal week and get back into it? Well,
you know, we gave them 3 days off totally. They didn't have to be around us at all if they didn't want to. And so, you know, I think that was good for them. You know, coaches went out and recruited for a couple days, the first 2 days after the game, and then came back in, and we worked on the 3rd day. And in working on the 3rd day, we just zeroed in on Akron, and then the players came in yesterday. And so I think that's the best approach for them. You know, it's been been a hard driving season, a lot of pressure on these guys. And, you know, midweek games, 4 days in between a game, 5 days in between a game, your bye after the first game. You know, that's a hard stretch. I think you got to be really good, and you got to be a little bit lucky to get it all done, no matter who you are in the MAC, in order to just make it work.
Obviously, hindsight's easy to see, but looking back, could you see a little bit of fatigue in your team down that stretch of so many games and however many days it was, and now, you know, you get to kind of sit back and see that and think maybe they were a little tired?
Well, I think they handled it as well as you can handle it, but were they a little tired? Probably, you know. And I don't think you go through what we went through and some other schools in the MAC went through and not have yourself tired coming down that stretch. But fighting through that and still trying to play your best ball is what it's all about.
Speaking of offense, Frank, Poppy White's got a chance to be the program's all-time leader in receiving yards. Did you envision that kind of pass-catching career when you got him 5 years ago?
We knew he was good, you know, but he's, you know, some things you don't see on film sometimes, just his ability to make a quick fake and a cut, and his route running has been special. It's allowed him to do that. You know, he doesn't have the great height, obviously, but he goes up and he turns and twists with the best of them. I mean, he'll make those special kind of catches in the air where he's in the air and he has to turn his body in order to make the catch. And he's been relentless in terms of his work ethic. You know, came through a little bit of an injury last year, but battled right back, got on the field as quickly as he could. You know, he's played banged up at times. He's been physical for us in terms of his blocking a good share of the time here, and so not only has he done what you asked of him, but he's got the talent to be special, and he utilized that talent. We knew quickly that we had a really good one after he got here, and you know, went through some practices and started off early in the season in terms of what he's all about.
With the position switch, you know, you bring a guy in, he's got talent, but then you still got to make it work after that point, and him finally settling in on that slot receiver spot seemed to be a win-win for both what you want to do offensively and for him as a player developing.
Yeah, you know, it makes sense. Obviously, you want to try to get him the ball as much as you can. Could he be a really, really good running back? He could. You know, but is his body positioned to, you know, carry the ball 36 times and those kind of things? But can he run 36 routes for you? He'll run routes all day long, you know. And so it's, in my mind, the very best position for him.
Coach, you've been in this business for a very long time, and you've seen your senior classes go through at the schools that you've been at. Do you feel like this is one of your better senior classes that you've had here, and they've helped you achieve so much? That you guys won a bowl game last year. This is a group that had a big part in that 2016 MAC championship run. Could you really ask any more of this group other than maybe winning a championship?
No, I don't think you can ask any more of them. In fact, I never had to ask anything of them. They just give it, and that was the great thing about this group. You know, they pushed themselves. They didn't have to have a position coach, a head coach, a strength coach push them. They pushed themselves to be better and get everything they could possibly get done for Ohio University.